In our interview with the leader of Leeds City Council, I started by asking how Leeds is coping after further local lockdown measures were implemented.
I think we're all relieved that it's unlikely that we'll get any further restrictions this week. And I think the difficulty everyone has had is that the new restrictions, new rules coming in almost every few days. And I think that's been a difficulty for everyone to really get to terms with what the new restrictions means, because the vast majority of people want to make sure that they abide by the regulations, and we're doing everything that we can to communicate with the public. The basics still remain true, and restrictions on their own aren't going to solve the problems that we've got. So a really strong message to everyone to really step up and take their own responsibility. And the best way to make sure that you don't get the virus is to maintain all of the regulations around socially distancing, keeping it distant from people, making sure that you don't put yourself at risk. The thing that's come in this week, of course, is that if you test positive or you're contacted to say that you've been in contact with someone who is positive, it's now a legal requirement that you self-isolate. So we recognise how difficult that is for people. And we want to make sure that everyone realises that they're entitled to support. Anyone on in-work benefits could get financial support to help them to do that. I think that's been a real weakness up to now, that people haven't had that level of support. So we've been lobbying for that really hard. I'm pleased to say that that has come in.
In the next part of our interview with Councillor Judith Blake, she discusses support for the hospitality sector and answers some of your questions.
We're working really closely with the sector because we realise just how worried they are, and there really is a fear that without further support that they will be decimated. And it's interesting, there are new restrictions coming in across certain parts of the north, along the lines that the northeast have already got. And it appears that there is a financial package being put together to support some of the businesses that are affected by that. And we're making a very strong case that all businesses are being affected by the restrictions, even if they're subject to advice rather than legal requirement. There is still a hit on their businesses. So we need to make sure that there's a level playing field, that everyone gets the support that they're entitled to, and we'll continue to work with the sector to push their case and to make sure. We don't want to see the sector decimated by any means. And the businesses that we're talking about really make up the character of a city like Leeds. All of the independents that, really have been flourishing and, make such a difference for people coming into our city centre. So it's tough, it's really difficult, and we understand that. And I want to pay, my real respects and thanks to the businesses that have been following the law and the guidance. We want to do things by consensus rather than coming in with a heavy hand and issuing fines all over the place. It's far better if we can find a way of all working together, but getting that clarity over so everyone knows exactly what is expected of them.
I've got a bricks and mortar business. For me, a big question is there any support that Leeds City Council could help actual bricks and mortar businesses?
We've put a really good support network in place, and I would just ask her to go on our website and follow the links so that she can find the support that she needs, and obviously to drop an email through if she's unable to get the specific response that she needs. We see very much our role in the partnership is helping to bring people together with the right levels of support, and we'll continue to do that as long as we're able to. But obviously, as a council, we have to get across to people that our financial situation as well is absolutely dire.
A short question here from Zika.
How are you?
Well, it's been very tough actually, because my mother was in a care home and she actually died in June. So I have incredible sympathy for everyone who is faced with those difficult circumstances. And like everyone else, I have family, small children who I can't see at the moment, and it's difficult. I think what I try and get across to everyone is that, you know, people are making very tough decisions, but every single one of us has difficult circumstances in their own personal lives to cope with. So going into further restrictions, heading into winter is a whole different prospect than going into spring, and this is difficult. It really is, but we're a resilient lot. You know, we do have a great sense of community, and I know we'll find all sorts of imaginative ways that we can support each other, entertain each other in safe and creative ways.